Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at Cubasis 3.4, Cubasis 3, but not in anything to do with the new features or anything. I just wanted to do a mini sampler tutorial. The last time I did a mini sampler tutorial was 2015. Nothing a lot has changed apart from the UI, but we're going to sample some bits and pieces into it and make some instruments and things. And these instruments I will make available for free for Patreon. So if you're a patron, you'll get these instruments for free. They'll be in a little folder in the rewards when I've collected a few of them and made a few of them, and you can use them in your Cubasis mini sampler. Dead simples. So this is a sound from the Cobalt 8M. It's initialized patch, and I just had to mess around with it. So there you go. So the sampler is very simple. I'm just going to unmute this now. And now you're hearing it coming through the audio fuse. We don't need to worry about that. We're just going to add a track, add a MIDI track now, and go to our instrument, tap on here, and go right, so it says MiniSampler. And you see where it says new instrument. We're going to tap on this, and we'll give this sound a name. That's playing the piano. We don't need to worry about that. We haven't chosen our sampler yet anyway, but there's my preset. So I've done a couple. Lo-fi lead. Now I'm going to have to work this out now. So I'm just going to turn the actually master volume down to this. So that's one of the ones that I did. And then I also did this. Now this was also one I did from. So both of these will be available in Patreon. There'll be a little folder. It'll say mini sampler in a day or so, along with a Moog model preset pack for free for you guys as well. So this is one I sampled earlier, and this was also from the Cobalt. Epic stuff. But we're going to go with new instruments, and we're just going to call this sound, I don't know, what is the patch called that I met? Oh, it's just initialized patch, isn't it? We'll just call this bright phased. Okay, so bright phased, and that'll do. Okay, so there's an instrument, bright phased. Now I do have some really cool plans for doing super instruments with the mini sampler. Massive ones with all sorts of samples and stuff and effects and things spread out over the entire keyboard. Anyway, right, so here's the thing. The mini sampler is pretty basic. It's a very basic sampler, so the sound you put into it is kind of key, but it's really good. Because it makes sampling very simple. So we have a pitch bend range here. We don't need to worry about that, or the volume. We're just going to initially now hit edit. And this will take us into our editing page. Now we can bring samples in from anywhere we like. If we get time, we'll have a look at that. But what I'm more interested in is recording the sample in from the Cobalt or any synth or whatever. If we have time, I'm gonna do one with the kalimba as well. Let's hit record here and choose a key. First thing we want to do is choose a key where we want to start. So C tone, I'm going to turn this up. And we're going to hit monitor. And we can hear the instrument and my voice going in now. We won't be in there hearing that in a minute because I'll just go straight to this, which is just going to sample that in. But we need to choose the input. So you're hearing my voice now because that's the thing that's been monitored. I'm going to go to stereo and 3 and 4, and there's the synth because it's going into the audio fuse channels 3 and 4. Made that a little bit brighter, I think. And what did I call it? Bright fade. If we call it a name, we're going to go to an effect here and maybe effect 3 where there's none. And phase. I'll choose a phaser. So we're going to record some note to this in. Now, the thing with sampling is, it's not so bad with synthesizers, right? Having just one note, because you can spread them out and they'll be absolutely fine. The problem starts to happen when you're recording acoustic instruments, so you want multi-samples across the whole thing. So what we're going to do is we're set for monitoring now. All we need to do is choose the key where we want to start. So I'm going to choose C3 down here, C1. So I'm going to start from C1, which will be here. So I'm going to place that nice deep bass note here on C1. So this is, you select the key where you want to record your sample in. That's important. So I want to record this note onto this key, which is C1. Okay. Now I don't really need to worry too much about the volume of it going in just yet. We can make it a little bit louder actually, I think. That might be a bit too much, but we can normalize it when we've done it and do some other editing things as well. So first thing we're going to do, select the key where we want this sample to be placed. Hit record. And just record a bit of it. And then stop. And there's the sample. First thing we can do is normalize it. I would suggest normalizing all your samples so that they're all kind of going to be more or less at the same level when you start to mix them and edit them and maybe increase the volume, because samplers take a little bit of time and I don't want to spend too long just going over the same kind of ground again and again. So I'm just going to normalize all the samples that I record in straight away. So recorded the sample in like this, hit normalize like that, and there it is. You can hear it, and you can hear it's still quite quiet. It doesn't matter. No, it's not a deal. So we're gonna, again, we're just gonna take this like this and do this like this, and we're gonna initially just trim that like this. And now if I turn down my cobalt, you'll go, there is the sample and the key it's on. I'm going too high here, so. All right. However, it's not on any other keys you can hear. It's just there. So we want to sample another key now. Okay. So I'm going to bring this back up to, and I'm going to play this F here. Okay, so I'm going to select it. I'm going to hit record. I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to normalize it, and then I'm going to bring this in like that, and I'm going to take off some of the end, and I'm just going to trim. Now we can go deeper trimming if we want to. If we expand this view now, if we missed any of it at the beginning, we can trim right into sample level. But again, I don't want to spend too long. Do you know what I mean? So we're just going to do it kind of by eye, which will be okay. So and we're hearing both there. So what I'm going to do is I want this C1 to carry on until it gets to C. So I'm going to just pick hold of it until it gets to the E1. So now this sample will be there. Now the F is too high, so really I want to be this F here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this. I'm going to delete that F sample. Yes, it's gone. I'm going to hold the key that I wanted to record onto. Okay. Like that. I'm going to hit record. I'm going to press stop. I'm going to normalize it. We're going to do this quicker now. So we're going to bring it in like that. And that's definitely where it started. Going to take it off to the end because I'm going to have this loop as well, and it's going to be polyphonic, whereas the original thing I had set to mono and not poly, so that's cool. So we're going to trim this as well. Okay, and I think we did normalize it. Now that sounds different. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the idea. What we're going to do now is take it. So, all right. Don't really like the way that's turned out, but you get the idea. You carry on adding notes in until you're happy with the thing. So if you weren't happy with that, I think what I may have done here is change the blinking sound between this and that. But that might be what you want because you can place different samples on different keys. So I think the easiest way to do is we'll scrap this one and then do another one. So I don't want this at all. I'm going to go back to my media bay here. Sorry, my instruments. To see what's going on. Go to here, and this bright phased thing I'm just going to delete. I'm going to go back here and make another new instrument. I'm just going to call this, I don't know, lead 2. Okay, and now we'll go to edit, and I will pick a sound again from here. So let's see what we've got patch wise. Okay, that's a nice sound. That'll do. So we'll go to this a bit quicker as well. So we're going to go from here, C1, and this is the key. You can choose to put it on a G if you wanted to, but I'm playing a C, so you see it makes more sense if you stick on C. Again, we don't really need to worry too much about the volume. There's a little bit of, let me just change the okay. So again, we're going to start with C1, which happens to be there, but we're going to record it onto there. Okay, right, let's see. So we're going to monitor. I'm going to turn the mic off, and I'm just going to go through recording a few of these notes in, okay, so you can follow along. By the way, I'm playing them on a little key step. And then on and on and on you go until you've built up another instrument. So I'm going to show you how to record. That doesn't sound right neither. Anyway, no worries. What we're going to do is record some calimbering. So we can delete, yes, we can delete these as well. Yes, and delete that. Yes. And for acoustic instruments, it's the same thing, except we need to now change our monitoring into where we're recording it now. You'll still hear me now, so I've switched the doubling off. So we're going to hit this C and make a kalimba instrument. So just watch you don't clip too much there, but that should be fine. So yeah, I didn't choose a thing, but it's placed it in there, so I want to delete that. I'm gonna choose C2. Stop that and trim this like that, normalize it, and there it is. And we can take this probably to we'll take this to E. So we've got this E now. Where is it? We're going to record this E in here. So I'm going to choose the position I want to record. Stop, and we can trim this. I'm going to go a bit closer. So trim and normalize. We can take this up maybe to, let's have a look what I've got on next. E, we'll take this up to this G and we'll record this G in. It's most fun recording the acoustic instruments as well. But I know what my problem was as well, because I was shifting octaves on the key step and I lost my octave position, and it's confused the sampling where I was. So it's better to do it with a full-size sampling keyboard. Right, hang on a minute. Let me just record this now. So again, we can do this. Take that in. Trim that. Normalize. And we'll take this up to where's our B. I suppose we could go to B. So our next one will be B. This will sound better. So again, just doing it by eye. Normalize it, and we could take this B up to maybe, let's see what we've got going on. D. So the next one we want to sample in is a D. And trim, normalize. We can take that up maybe to F. Select F is the next note to record. And again, we just need to trim it roughly. You would probably want to spend more time trimming these. That would make more sense. And let's see where we could go with this one. Let's take it up to let's just take that up to this next, in fact to this C. Okay, so let's see, we're going from C2 basically to C4. We've got 2 octave range, and I'm playing now with the actual key step 37. So that's, I'd need to actually add some more notes in, I think. So we'll skip this C, and I think I have a really high C. Yeah. So we're going to sample this one now. Okay. And like that. That was quite loud, that one. So maybe we can just take off that tiny bit there. We trim it. And then let's take that up to about there. So it'd be good for Sally Castor. Now, there you go. So we've done that. Stop monitoring off this now, and we've done an instrument that goes just over 2 octaves. Didn't take too long to to do. We don't need to loop this, but I'll show you in a minute how we can loop stuff as well, which is really cool. No, it does it, Stephen? Does it really? Does it? Does it? I'll get to that in a sec. We can't do that in this page, right? So look, you can select, you can erase, reverse, you can normalize, fade in, fade out. You can send it to your samples and whatever. We're gonna just close this now, and we'll be seeing the actual instruments, and there it is, and I can still play it. And now we need to set our release envelope. Hey, Rimmer. We need to set our release envelope. So now if we want this to save with our patch, I'm going to change its name in a minute. We want this to save to our patch. We're going to hit save envelope as default, and this will be remembered for this particular patch. Okay, we're going to go to this, and when it says lead to, we're going to rename, and we're going to call this Kalimba Kalimba. Okay, and now we've got our Kalimba installed. We've got our space bell mod, which I recorded earlier, my lo-fi lead, and now our and we can, of course, if we go back into edit, for each sample we can choose each sample, and we can look at the sample as well, like that, to check it out. We can, if we go to edit now, we can choose, we can do the mix. So if you wanted to make everything a little bit louder, you could if you wanted to, or you can do it just with the actual volume here, which will make the overall thing louder. So I think we've got max release on that now. Hear it? Listen. Hear all those extra little noises in the background. I think that's really nice. I think that's it. I think that's good. Okay, so let's see if we can do something with the Cobalt again quickly. Need a swig. I'm thirsty. It's difficult doing this though with all the instruments running because of the way the audio fuse is set up. However, we can have a go. So we're going to go new instrument. And I'm going to, right, first of all, I'm going to show you how you can do one off just one patch. Okay. And this is really good. So first of all, we're just going to call this, we'll call it blah, because I don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll go, okay. So blah's there, do this. Oh, sugar, what have I done now? Let me add it MIDI back in. Find the instrument. MiniSampler, my preset, blah, edit. I'm going to show you another way first. Import. You can import any sound into this. So if we go to my samples, these, you see all these are all the samples that we've recorded tonight, and they're all still there. Okay, so you could like use them again if you wanted to. However, we're going to go with these where it says one shots, and these are available to buy from MobileMusicPro, and these are a pack of one shots. So I'm just using this as an example. So there's acoustic guitars, bass guitars, there's brass. Oh, brass. Let's have a look at brass. Open. Oops. What am I doing here? Why can't I open me one shots? There we go. And we can audition them as well. So, and these are all in C. Most of these from my Ovation. Or we could go with maybe brass. Or some electric guitar. Or electric piano. There, for instance, this one. C. So I'm gonna go, right, okay. Well, this is it. We'll just double tap it. But we need to tell it where to go. So I'm going to place that on maybe C3. And there it is, C3. So we don't need to worry about putting another one because I've only got the one note. Because it'll be okay. I just wanted to show you that you can just use one sample to spread across the whole keyboard. So if we close that, oops, no, we don't want to close that. We close this here. Go back to edit, sorry. Go back and to edit. So there's the sample. I'm going to normalize it. And I'm going to spread this across, what's this here? Delete that. I don't know what that is. That's what probably was, yes. Probably was what was messing me up earlier. Right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to spread this all the way down to there. Oh, thanks, Hope. Bless you. Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to just drag it all the way up to the where the range of the key step for the kickoff. Now, this isn't going to sound great at the top end, so it starts to lose it and you'll get a laze, and this is why it's a good idea to use multiple samples, but it's all right for this, right? And I've got my sustain. But all end in different parts. So first of all, we're going to leave this piano as it is. And you'll see the Cubasis sampler does a pretty good job of mapping it really nicely. So when we're happy, we've got this one sample mapped across the entire keyboard like that. So you only need to use one sample if you want to. We can close this like this here. Actually, yes, close that like that. And I'm going to now mess around with the release. Out there, save that as default. I'm going to rename this blah to electric piano 1. I don't know, maybe. So and if it's a bit what it, you can still go in and trim the wave. Like for instance, you might think, oh, that's a bit clicky down the bottom end, you know. What was he thinking? Well, if we can get really, really close in to the front, you'll see that there was a little tiny bit that I missed when I sampled it. So we'll just take that in there like that, hit trim, and now if we go back in, sorry, it should be right. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna take it right in like this, then I'm gonna go right back out, and then go trim, and you see it's just, see that's better now? It's peachy. You're right. Yeah, it could be called Rhode Island, actually. Great, that's a nice sound. Really pleased with that. Let's do one now with the Cobalt, and this time we'll do it like a pad sound, and we'll make it loop. Okay, so what we want to do is go here, and we've got our kalimba and our electric piano. Awesome stuff. We'll go new instrument. We'll call this one Cobalt Pad. Cobalt Pad. Okay, and let's see. We'll bring up the volume for the Cobalt. We'll go into edit. I'm gonna choose C1 as the sampling point. Go to record. And we'll choose a sound now, patch. So we'll just sample 4 Cs. That's a nice sound, it's poly anyway, so I'm going to make sure that I've got a bit of awesome stuff. Now I'm going to go into stereo 3 and 4, and I'll be able to sample. I'll sample these 4 C's in over the keyboard, and this will make more sense because I won't be messing around with the actual octave shifting. So we monitor. So monitor recording, we shall and then we can stop that, and there we've got our first one. And if you're fading, it doesn't matter if you're fading. What we're going to do now is go to a second one here, and I'm going to sample in this C. So and the nice thing about this patch is that the further you go up, it shifts the stereo position. So we're going to do this one now. So we're going to choose this key, hit this. Okay, cool beans. Stop that, and then go further up now. Choose this key and sample that in. Awesome. And what we're going to do is trim a little bit Again, I'm going to do this quickly, but I don't need to worry too much about the tail out this time, but I'm going to have it tail out in case we want to release it, and I'm going to trim. Now I'm going to go to this sample and quickly do the same. So they're all more or less the same. They don't look like they need to be normalized, so that saves us a job. This one does, so we'll normalize that. But like I said, you all have independent gain for each sample, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Trim. And the first one we did, which is this one, yeah, we'll normalize that one as well. Me and Joe watched loads of Fleetwood Mac stuff last night, documentaries and stuff. It was absolutely brilliant, it was. Trim. Right, okay. So now we can stop monitoring, and now we can turn that down. Now we're listening to what we've got on our sampler. So we've got our 4 Cs, and this one I haven't trimmed, so just do that. Trim. But we need to, obviously, now we need to spread them out. So we can take this first one down an octave as well. You're not really going to go that low. We can take this one up to the B. And then we can take this C up to this B. And then we can take this C up to this one. And then we can take this C4 one, the last one. We can take that all the way up to C6 if we like. And now we've got this. This is really nice because now the samples are going to be more or less, you know, we spread them out a bit, but they're synthesized sounds. So that's really nice. And the cool thing is now, of course, we have all the control over the looping. Now, eventually, if I hold a sample, which one am I doing? This one here. It's going to go away, isn't it? And if I choose another sample, which is this one, it's also going to go away because it faded out. So what we need to do is, and we'll start with our first sample here, which goes all the way down to there. What we're going to do is go into edit, and you see where it says loop sample, switch that on, and this will put loop points in for you, and you can adjust them. So if I hold this now, actually I want to, this is never going to go away now. It's always going to loop. So let's go to another. Actually, loop point sounded okay for that. So let's go to this one, engage loop, and this fit what this sounds like. It sounds pretty good, to be fair. And don't worry, you'll still get the release once we set the release off as well, which is really nice. So we'll go to our next one here, switch loop points on, and let's see what that sounds like. And let's go with this one, switch loop on, and hi Marcus. No, you can't. You can't, Marcus. You can only have one sample. It's a very basic sample. So if I was, if for you, I would suggest like recording the multi-sample. But no, you don't have velocity layer or anything like that. So no, you can't do it, mate. Can't do it. Unless someone knows different, but I don't think you can. Anyway, we've done our sampling. We can close this window now, and we can now. Well, yeah, we'll leave it as Cobalt Pad. I'm going to increase this. And now we've got a nice release, so. Lovely. So, like I said, if you're a Patreon, I'll package these up and send them off. But I'm going to make some better ones. I'm going to spend more time. When you rush, things don't go right, you know. But I'll send them over anyways. In a couple of days, along with the Mini Moog Model D patch bank, which is coming along very nicely. That's a really nice sound. Actually, it really is good, isn't it? It's just this little mini sample. It is great. And that was from this. It was from. So there's the synth. And if we turn the volume down for the synth, re-engage the actual monitoring for the pad, it's maybe a bit too much release. I'd use my pedal. Awesome. I think that's really, really cool, actually. I think it's really... And of course, we can now, if we want to... excuse me, we'll go with our send effects here, and we'll... not send effects, we'll use an insert effect. An audio unit, and let's just go bonkers and put Black Hole on that sound, because I think it'll just sound amazing with this. And guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening, where we took a look at how to use the MiniSampler. You get the idea. We went through, we sampled, we made a kalimba. I think it's really, really good. I showed you how to spread your notes or import samples, record samples in, use a hardware synth to record them in. Just make sure you don't start swapping around there like your octaves and stuff like I was doing. But yeah, here's that sound with that Black Hole. And it's massive. So, guys, I'll turn the microphone down. Thank you so much again for joining me this evening. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow with some more fun stuff. Awesome. See you guys later. Thank you very much. Ta-da. Bless you all.